We're joined by Andy, who's not from Aberdeen.
How you doing, Russ?
How are you, lad? All right?
Oh, tired.
Tired, yeah? Why? What you been up to?
Eating too much.
Oh, well,
Eating too much and not sleeping enough. So it's
you know what they say, don't you? You just finishing all quality streets off that people bought you at Christmas, Andy.
it was more macaroni cheese I was eating. I made a big pot of it the other night and
Oh,
it was nearly finished off.
don't talk to me about macaroni cheese. Old kids who I
Yeah.
know. Mac and cheese, eh?
Mac and cheese, The,
See? Okay.
it's
Go on,
a
sorry.
fun favourite with most people in it. A lot of people like it, don't they?
Yeah. Has Julian put any weight on over Christmas, has he?
I don't know. I
I
haven't asked them.
He did. He did last year. I remember him saying to me, you were going to cut rid of all rubbish out," and he said, I'm not going to do that next year." I was just wondering earlier if he'd piled any weight on.
I like to ask them. I put on about half a stone leading up to Christmas. And then I didn't put on any more over it, but I haven't really lost much, so I need to get on it.
Yeah, I've kept it up. I think I'm 11.3 this morning. You know what I mean? So I'm all right with that, like me. I should be a bit more, probably about 11:10 if I can get some on. But I kept it off over Christmas, really. I think it's not hard if you can eat what you want, but if you got to put that training in, aren't you? Obviously, I'm putting runs,
Nah,
doing swims and
yeah,
that now, but
yeah.
you know what? With swimming, Andy, and that, you're right. You know, I feel like an eight nice eight because after I do my weight session, I swim. And it's a right nice ache in it that you get. You feel like you've done something, don't you? After you've swum.
Swimming. I like swimming. I don't do any weights or that, but I'll enjoy a swim. Swimming and walking is basically what I've been doing lately. I need to step up. I need to be doing some more vigorous. I mean, I trained hard for that big hike I did, but that was quite hard going. But I need to. I've not done a lot since, apart from just going out walking and swimming. Walking and swimming is good for you, but it just keeps a kind of base level of fitness, doesn't it? But,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. The Gad. He's coming out with big words describing Fury and Joshua's passion, and they've still got the dog in them and all that. What a chihuahua!
waxing lyrical.
Oh, I mean, I'm disappointed with the Gad and other media outlets that have said certain things over a period of time, and I've got it all saved on my computer. And then I make a mental note of it, and then I come back to it, and I say, "Well, what's changed since then?" Well, the guard, Adam Cattrall, Simon Jordan, they all had plenty to say about certain issues, and then once it suits them, they turn and they say the opposite, and they think that everybody forgets, and it's really, really, really disappointing, especially Adam Cattrall, who I've been a massive fan of. And it looks like they've all been told and they all know they've got to toe the line, don't they? And I don't think that is proper media, what boxing needs. It's why boxing is now a free for all with everybody and the dad wanting to have a piece of it. You know, like with these YouTubers and Misfits and Mike Tyson and Holyfield, and I mean, they're talking about Junior Witter and Ricky Hatton again, aren't they? You know, going to go at it and that, and it's like a free for all. Jake Paul and all this, and it all stems from from the media, in my honest opinion, not doing boxing a good service because all them old school media guys, they're all gone, aren't they, nearly now? They're all dinosaurs. And these new breed, you've got like this Puppy Parsons with full access to Eddie and all them lot and Omar and them. All they wanted to talk about is crisps and sunglasses and what Tom Ford shirts they've got on and where they went for a pint. What is that? What's that got to do with box? Could you imagine Pat Sheenan asking Joe Bugner about what his favourite crisps are at a press conference before he fought Ali? He'd be like,
Or
"What?"
if he'd had a, or if he'd had a shower.
Yeah, or the Gad, Dillian, do you shower before a fight? Or Gad, the Gad, what was that bird you were talking to? Not Ebony, the other one. Oh, the ebony one with a like a rising phoenix. That one were pretty sickly and sneaky and slimy. But the other one where you've got very powerful legs. Can you tense your legs up? Why do you want to get your head in between them, Gad? Let her crush your head or something, you pervert. You can imagine him
Well,
in one of them gimp suits with a dog collar on and some bird walking him around some house or something, couldn't you? Or
he'd
kicking
be like
nuts and that. You know them women that kick people in nuts and they pay them 150 quid to have the nuts kicked in.
dominatrix.
Mostly
He'd be
when
a bit
I
like
get kicked, you know, when I get kicked in bollocks off a bird, it ain't usually something like that. It's usually that, and then a brick fruit car window or something in it, or leather jackets. I've had leather jackets shredded into like little tiny pieces, for going out on a Friday and coming back on a Monday. I've had that, mate. I have to put up with that. Do you know what I mean? But
uh,
these weirdos, the
think,
freakos, absolute freakos, they probably have freak offs at their house, like other people that we know on telly at the moment on internet. I'm just
think
fed up of it now that the mainstream media has become a boxing media an absolute joke, and these people are running around saying they've got their word is made of oak and the staunch and that. Well, why are they flips? Why are they flip flopping on their opinion? 1 minute Fury Joshua's a busted flush because Usyk's got 2 wins over Joshua, and he's got 1 win over Fury. Then Fury has another loss to him, and Joshua has is obliterated by Dubois. And these same media people are now saying Fury Joshua is a massive fight, and they've both got the dog in them. Where are they coming from, Andy, with this nonsense?
so. Who? What I want to know is who is the man in the shadows, creating, directing the narrative. There must be somebody there somewhere deciding what the narrative is, and
Yeah,
what they're
yeah.
going to say.
What
What
it is
line?
basically is the owner of the paymasters. They all want access. Talksport didn't get access, did they? If you remember, they
Bombed out.
they don't get full access, so they want access for the sponsors and all that. It's about pound notes, right? So they've got to toe the company line. So these guys are supposed to be staunch boxing men who've been to university, men with their word made of oak. But yet the word comes from above, and these men whose words are made of oak, their word is made of marshmallows. It's not made of oak. You see where I'm coming from?
I mean, Adam Catterall, you talk about. I mean, he was like a breath of fresh air for a wee
Yeah,
while,
he
and then,
was, and Simon Jordan was.
uh,
But they're
and
towing
then
the company line, aren't they now?
it all goes soft, and yeah, they don't maintain their stance, do they?
No,
They
this
just
is
go.
gone, mate. It's gone, right? There's no we can do about it. It's gone, and that's that. But these people, I'm not buying into them now. The Adam Cattralls and all that. They're going to toe the line for what suits them. Adam Cattrall needs to take his tongue out Tom Aspinall's arsehole, if you ask me. That's all they're good for, mate. That is all
uh,
they're good for. You didn't see me behaving like that with Tom Aspinall when I had him on my channel, did you? You know what I
yeah,
mean? Before anybody even knew we were. You know
yeah.
what I mean? And he's a lovely kid, Tom, and his dad Andy. But these people are not towing the company line. What next are they going to be running around saying, well, it's harsh for people to say John Fury didn't have 100 fights on the hard road because I've heard he had 50. Are they going to be towing that line next if John Fury ends up in a fight with Mike Tyson or whatever? Is that what we're going to get next? Eh? Are they going to be reciting chapters out John Fury's book
Bible.
where he admits that his name was John Partridge because he would on run from Interpol? Have you read his book? I've read. Well, I've
I've
read.
not,
Somebody sent me a screenshot, mate. He's called himself John Partridge because that Partridge name comes about in his book because he's on run from old Bill in the world. He's like wanted. He's like Bin
like an
Laden.
Alan Partridge.
Eh?
Ha
What did he say on Boxing Social to that Andy Puro? MI5 are watching me from the moon. I'm a serious dude. Right, listen, let's just take that back again. No, let's just rewind that, John, please. When is Puppy Parsons and the rest of them and Coogan going to say, John, what did you mean when you said that MI5 were watching you from the moon? What he really should have said was, MI5 were not watching me. They were watching my brother Peter and Frank Smith, my pal. That's what they were watching, what they were doing from satellites and all sorts of stuff. Not him. Why would he put his son into somebody else's business that's nothing to do with him? You see where I'm coming from? It's a story that somebody else's that he's made his own. It's called Stolen Valor. All right. I know that'll be revealed one day what went on. I can assure you. But it is what it is, isn't it? But I'm just fed up of these media guys doing boxing a massive, massive disservice. Because what they're doing, they're telling the paying public a load of rubbish. They're giving people platforms to chat utter lies and bullshit. I'm just about had enough of it now. And there's only me making a stance. All these others that were making stances, their arseholes have gone, haven't they? They've crossed over to the other side. So I'm the last of the Mohicans, me and my commission. Well, that's true, isn't it? There might be a few other sites that want to be me, but it was me that started the ball rolling. Am I right?
Yeah.
Who went after this shower before me in 2017? Oh, nobody did they? Maybe Asylum had a little bit of a dig. Not like me, mate. They weren't putting billboards up and going at them, were they? And let me tell you, I'm going to go at the lot of them this year. I'm only getting warmed up. Who's going to take me on? Nobody's going to take me on physically, are they? Because I get stuck into them. Do you know what I mean? So what they're going to do? Try and cut my legs off. Oh, we've got a backup channel ready. Nobody's going to stop me doing what I want to do. Because you know, the more people have a go at me, Andy, the more I come back stronger. All right,
The more
so
resilient.
ready. Hey?
The more resilient you become.
Well, I'm going to be, aren't I? You know what I've had to put with, don't you? Some of that nonsense that goes on behind the scenes. You know, I'm gonna mention it to them new viewers that come on here. I've had dog shit put through my letterbox and then emails sent. I had my car pitch. I had people fly tipping on it because I stuck it to Tony Bellew. I had people telling lies to Daniel Kinahan and having him ring Dennis. Luckily, Dennis knew him. You know what I mean? But that didn't scare me anyway. It just made me even worse. He don't mean fuck all to me, Daniel Kinahan. Just a prick that sells drugs. He don't mean no to me. If he had any balls about him, he'd come back and face music, wouldn't he? Wouldn't be hiding like a little girl behind people. But he don't mean no to me. Big Malk trying to cause me problems with him. Hey, Dennis, oh, can you not put Big Malk in helmets at month? Why, Dennis? He's made because he works for Daniel Kinahan's foundation, African Foundation. I goes, so? He's had votes. Peter Fury had votes and he got put in. See where I'm coming from? So it don't bother. So no, nobody's going to stop me. It just make me even worse because I'm that way inclined, aren't I? You know, I've always been like this. So get ready. But you Gareth A. Davises, your Simon Jordans, and now, sadly, somebody who I thought were actually all right, Adam Cattrall, you little grovelling little piece of shit. You little grovellers, None of, and best thing about it is, he should tell them to stuff it. He's got his own channel, hasn't he? Make your own way. Instead of trying to ponce a living, putting fakeness out, putting rubbish out that you don't agree with, and then trying to justify it on your own channel. Where are we going with this boxing? Well, what are these media people in boxing, Andy? Well, what are they doing to the sport? They're killing it behind the scenes, but they can't see it. And you know, people like Jake Paul, they've looked at it and gone, wow, what clowns this lot are. And you know, this Turkey guy out there, he's looking at it and he's thinking the same thing. And do you know what's going to happen in the end? There'll be no Bricktops. There'll be no Eddie Hills. There'll be none of that lot. None of that Calasour rat. All the rest of them. They'll all be gone. That Turkey will be calling shots. And none of these will have a say in it. It'll all be gone. And you know, UFC, it's just laughing at it. UFC's laughing at boxing because they all think we're clowns. We're all clowns for putting up with this. I've made my stance. Nobody else is. And all these people in boxing who've got fighters out there, and you know who you are. All you trainers out there with kids 10 and 0, 11 and 0, 12 and 0, 13 and 0 that have not fought anybody. You should be embarrassed. just fighting stiffs and cream puffs, thinking you're even going to get it mixed for Saudi. Because what shows are coming on round here? I've been looking at one earlier, that one that's on February 22nd. It doesn't even say whose show it is or who opponent is. All it is TBA versus so and so. No, because nobody knows what's happening, do they? Nobody knows
Fair.
what's going on, do they? They're all waiting for the Saudi phone call. It's embarrassing. It's social media's killed the sport. That's right. I
Yeah.
think it's killed it, mate. It's killed it. What do you
For
think?
all for all we know, I think Turkey Al Sheikh, he could be the best thing that's happened to boxing. He might wipe out all the corruption, all the dodgy promoters, or scumbags, as Chris Eubank Jr. calls them. He might take all that out of the equation and put on shows all over the world from his base and have the big shows on where he is. And he might take away, he might kind of cancel out some of the governing bodies, the alphabet soup. He might get rid of that and go with, like you say, go with his ring belt, because that's probably got more prestige than any of the sanctioning bodies, doesn't it? The ring belt, and have one champion, and a proper sort of system for people like actually the best getting rated properly, as opposed to promoters, like you say, canvassing for people to get where they shouldn't really be, getting unfair shots, and maybe take away all this rematches after rematches, which is stagnating the whole game, isn't it? So he could be the best thing. I'm always skeptical about most things, but I think if it goes away, I think it might go. I think it's a good thing, yeah. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, but is it right that a man can come in and just buy the sport like that and dictate to everybody and everybody pander? I mean, do you know you know what upsets me? As a kid growing up, I remember I used to get boxing news in the early 80s, and you had like, I remember reading boxing news one day and reading an article, and it said Frank Warren bowled into this event with Joe Bugner in tow. We were bringing Joe Bugner back at the time and all that blah de blah. And he was like, Frank Warren he took on the cartel at the time, and a bit like Eddie when Eddie went up against McGuigan and Frank Warren and Dennis Hobson and Mick Hennessy and all them. Eddie got the Sky deal, and Eddie went after them all, didn't he, basically, and got stuck into them, and they all, like, most of them joined forces, didn't they? But I thought it were a breath of fresh air, and I used to read boxing news, and I now look at these people whose words were made of oak, and what were right, and we're going to do things legally, and this is right for the sport. And then, soon as it suits, they're holding hands in front of the world's media. At least Eddie didn't hold his hand. Bricktop were actually holding his hand and coming out with going on about what great things that country is. But if you back up 4 years, he's on social media saying that the human rights is shocking and all that blah blah blah. You remember not long after he was saying StubHub, he had people asking questions in House of Commons, didn't he, about StubHub, and then when it suited, he jumped in bed with StubHub. So these people will sell their souls. So that means they can't be trusted, doesn't it? And obviously, he's lost cases in court because of dishonesty. So I think Eubank should sue him. Should get stuck into him in court, sorry, and not be worried. You know.
Shapeshifters, yeah, they're all shapeshifters.
Well, look,
Yeah.
it's amazing. A bit of glamour for a few people, or a bit of PR and a few quid. How people can turn. I mean, you've got Puppy Parsons interviewing Eddie, saying, "Oh God, I've never been to Gold Coast in Australia before, Eddie. Oh, I'm staying in a great hotel, and we were out drinking with these certain women, and oh, I'm having a great time, and this and that, and just basically just being like a little Eddie Hills fanboy. Eddie Hills, being a fanboy, right? And this is what these promoters want. They want little lap dogs. Do you know when I used to interview Dennis in office? Dennis used to say, "What are you going to ask me?" And this is on my children's life and on Dennis's life. At no stage in that office did he know what I was going to ask him. Ask anybody. Ask Chris Smedley. I used to fire it at him, and we'd get at it afterwards. And he'd say, "Oh, I don't want that in. I don't want that." And I say, "It's all staying in." I'm
So he
telling
should
you
be
now. I'm telling you now. Do you know what? Aggie Dennis loads of stick, but not once did he ever say to me, take that out, take that out, take that out. He'd try it on, but if I stood firm, he knew, and he'd just laugh it off and say, you know, bro, fucking little so and so. But he used to laugh it off. But this lot can't, you see. They want to control the narrative. And you've got people like Coogan. How can Coogan be classed as a real man? How can he look himself in face? He should look himself at his face in the mirror and say, I'm a sellout. He's sold out. For what? Because he's had his mate. But what about
A
the
yellow
sport?
belly, eh?
Killing it
Yellow
off.
belly.
They've killed it off. These have killed it off, you know. And it can't be pulled back now. The horse has bolted, mate. The horse has bolted. You know, when you got people like Julian McGowan and you've got them lads, I forgot what their podcast's called. You know, Martin and Andy, New Age Pod. You know them lads who were on Terry's Take. You know that
Oh, I heard that the other day, yeah.
the video I've just put out now, Terry's Take 103. Well, them kids
Yeah.
they were pioneers for it, weren't they? Podcasts, Martin and Andy and Terry Chappendama, and that they started before anybody. Them lads don't do the weekly thing now. I miss that. Me and Dennis used to listen to that. No Age. We used to listen to Asylum as well, though, but that's gone all American now, so I don't bother with that. But we used to listen
Yeah.
to theirs, and when people like that are not interested, you're starting to think, you say, well, what's going on here? What's going on? And it's down to the media. The media are not standing firm. If you have proper, media, right?
Yeah.
If you've got the media who run a newspaper, right, they can't just say and do what they want. They have to report on proper facts. People in boxing, they're not reporting on proper facts. They're not asking proper questions. They're not doing it, Andy. And it's created a market where people can think, you know what, boxing's there for taking. You got Jake Paul, he's coming and taking what he wants. That Turkey Al Sheikh's coming in, he's practically taking over the sport. Nobody's doing anything about it. Nobody. MTK had a go, didn't they? Nobody could stop him because everybody was scared to death of him. Barney McGuigan stood up to MTK, though, didn't he?
I did, huh?
That
Yeah,
Michelle
was due for that.
and that girl from the News of the World or whatever it's called, the Michelle Talent, is it the Irish big newspaper, Sunday newspaper? She stood up to him, didn't she? But all others, they just shit the pants, don't they? Why? Be your own people. Don't be frightened of these. Don't be bullied. Do you know what I mean? But the boxing promoters, they know who they want to do interviews with. You see where I'm coming from? There's people out there. Look at that barber shop. Eddie stopped all them having access, didn't he, in America? Because they were putting it on him, weren't they? Because basically they're in Al Heyman's in-house guys. Eddie won't give them time of day, will he? Do you know why? Because they put it on him. And when they do put it on him, he's always running to a taxi, isn't he? You remember the interview where he's running to a taxi and he's trying to be clever and all that? So the media are to blame. And you know the stalwarts, Steve Bunce and people like that, they should know better as well because Steve Bunce got stuck into Mickey Duff back in the day. Yeah, he got a 2-year ban. But they know better as well, and they've gone missing when the time's been right. And I've been a massive fan of Steve Bunce, massive fan. But they should know better, and I expect better from people like that. And Colin Hart as well, old dinosaur Colin Hart.
Murray's.
Hey?
Colin Murray.
Yeah, Colin Hart who gets his wig from Maury's. You know why he gets them from there, don't you, Andy?
Tested hurricane strength winds.
He tested against hurricane winds.
I mean, I come on here and I don't know what you're going to ask me, but I'm only a fan, part of the commission. I'm not a boxing promoter, but you've got to be open and honest about things, eh? And they seem to struggle with that, don't they, boxing promoters? But what's Eddie Hill's got to be scared of? He's an accomplished street fighter now, is he, no?
Hey?
Knocking out 4 guys in a Rolex shop.
What's happened with that, Andy? Tell me what's happened with that because I've had Max on, and I've had in a 2-parter, and I've had James on in a 2-parter, and that should do some views. And
I think it's all been debunked. Eddie came out and said it didn't happen, and he doesn't wear a watch anyway in case he gets mugged.
He said it did happen at first, didn't he? Now he's changed his tune. What's he saying
He
now?
said
It just bans.
he said he doesn't wear a watch in case he gets mugged, but he made a point of saying Frank Smith's got loads of watches. He wears a watch.
He's put
So
Frank Smith.
Spotty Frank get a target.
He's put Spotty Frank's house up on offer now, has he? Go on, Eddie. Spotty Frank and me used to text each other all the time, you know, Spotty. He used to be all right.
Huh?
I got on with Spotty. And then Eddie told him, what did you tell him, Eddie? What did you put with them texts off him for? You wasting time and all that. And that was that I got blocked. That's a few years ago, that, yeah, Spotty. Spotty's all right, but he's controlled, isn't he? He's controlled by Eddie Hills. Hills!
See
So,
Puppy Parsons, Jink, he's got a framed photo of Eddie Hills on his bedside table.
Puppy Park, on Spectrum, him. Could you imagine being stuck on an aeroplane with Puppy Parsons and Adrian Mole?
Sitting smiling at you for the whole journey. Be a
Uh,
bit uncomfortable.
okay, then let's go through what we've got here. Let's go through what we've got. Eubank and Bricktop, how do you see it panning out?
Nah, that will dissolve, I think. Well, the dust will settle. Maybe Turkey will put his lean on. He'll maybe lean on Bricktop again. I think that's what happened before, is it not? Tell them all to behave themselves, but who knows? But like you say, I think Eubank should take a stance on that and
Well,
stand up.
listen, Christopher Eubank Jr., I've already spoke to two solicitors about this, and it's a very simple slam dunk case for you. Uh, your interpretation of scumbag might be a different interpretation of what Bricktop sees as a scumbag. But Bricktop sued a newspaper years ago, didn't he? Because they said that he fought his way up from the gutter to where he is now. And he said that the word gutter, right, gutter, made his upbringing in a council flat in Islington sound like they were scruffy or poor and that. And he settled out of court for £10,000. So he's obviously obsessed by legal stuff, isn't he? But it's not fine if you go look. But do you know he's been in over 60 cases?
Aye, 60. You know.
Won loads of them though, and settled out of court and that. But Calzaghe beat him, didn't he? Now, when Calzaghe beat him, I mentioned this in another video. The judge in his summing up said you'd had a contract every single fight with Calzaghe except this Roy Jones one, because Calzaghe said Bricktop were nothing to do with that. Didn't have a contract for him, but Bricktop said no, we had a verbal one. So judge, when he summed up, says what? You had 20 odd fights with him, right? 23, 22 fights, I think. I think he was 23 and 0 when he went there, or 22 and 0. He'd had 20 summit fights. I think it was 23. And then that last one, Calzaghe said it's not to do with him. Bricktop said, "Oh, it is, it is, it is. We had a verbal. I'm suing you." He lost in court. Within a month, he folded the Sports Network, didn't he? So Calzaghe never got paid, did he? Right. So that's the sort of person you're dealing with here. So it's a slam dunk for Eubank. I could defend him myself on it. So he should go
Yeah,
all steam ahead with it.
yeah.
So, but it is what it is. So I've got Eubank to win that if they're going to cope, but I don't think it'll go there. I think he'll shit his pants. He'll go, oh, Bricktop's suing me again. He won me last time. Blah de blah. I think what'll happen is he'll fight Amzad Shiraz after Ben. Do.
Yeah. And I think Eubank's at the end of his career, and it's probably a 50-50 fight, him and Shiraz at the moment. That might change, though, depending how he gets on with the Crushinator.
Okay. Let's go get stuck into this lot there, right? Fury, Joshua, White, Joyce Chisora, and Big Freeze, who's 34 in August. The Gad and other people in the media are saying they're coming to the end and this will be last year, but they said that last year. Do you seriously think this lot are going to do one with all this money on the table? They're going nowhere, are
Nah,
they?
no. No one has money there.
So,
Unless somebody looks completely shocking and completely shot, somebody that's got a load of money already, like Joshua or Fury. If any of them come out and just look shocking, I think you might see them ride off into sunset. But I don't know. I don't think they look bad enough yet for that to happen.
there's no way on earth, Andy, right? Fury and Joshua are going to retire. Not when there's this much money on offer. Joshua, scared of his own shadow, though, at the moment, in my opinion. So why would you have a rematch clause, Andy, right? In the Daniel Dubois fight, you get beat, so you exercise your rematch clause that you asked for. Why would you not exercise that rematch clause and go a different route? It shows that you shit your pants. Do you agree?
I heard Bricktop earlier on. He kind of turned the tables on that, saying Daniel Dubois had a rematch clause, and he said it was because in case like it was a head clash or something like that. So that's not what we heard before, though, is it? I mean, he said it was Dubois' rematch clause, but it was, as far as we were all aware, I think it was Joshua's rematch clause, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was earlier the night. I just listened to a Bricktop thing. He was talking about that. Yeah.
Hey.
I think he was on Seconds Out or something like that, an hour long. I've
Oh,
only seen
not
a
with
bit of
that Danny Flexen. He's a licker, him, innit? Have you seen his interviews? And what a licker you are, Flexen. You never ask proper questions. All you do is lick, lick, lick. But we all saw the filth that you were sending Sonny Edwards' sister on social media, didn't we? Hey, you freako.
it. Wasn't him that was interviewing him, some other guy. I don't know who he was, but he was actually on
Yeah, well,
camera.
he is a licker, though, when you're flexing.
Ah,
Same as
yeah.
Umar. I've gone off Umar now. I thought Umar started out asking proper questions. Now all he wants to do is put his tongue up the ringer. Do you know what I mean?
They all get disarmed, don't they? They start off with great intentions and then they get softened up.
Yeah, Poppy Parsons was the same. I mean, Umar at beginning started out calling Tyson Fury a bin dipper and a pikey this and pikey that. And that, now look, he's hanging out at back of her, and Tyson and all the rest of Tyson's entourage. Not that they care about him anyway. But it is what it is. Martin Bacoli calling out AJ because AJ said he loses against that guy he's going to fight. What do you make of that, Bacoli?
I think Bacoli will smash him and Big Meech. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm,
honestly, yeah.
I think so. I think Bacoli's a dangerous man. I think I rate him right up there. He needs to be a bit lighter, though. I'd rather see him a bit lighter. Though it doesn't seem to hinder him the weight from what I've seen against Anderson. But I would like to see him lighter because I think his footwork would be a bit quicker. But no, I do rate him.
Okay. Fury and Joshua. The history books say that they've been down 17 times, but really it should be 18 because Joshua got pinged down an extra time against ABERDEEN. But the history books
Uh,
say they've both been on the deck 17 times. Jeff Powell's got Fury down as a defensive specialist in his column. Yeah, I know, yeah. Fury's been down 8 times, Joshua's been down 9. So they've been down 17 times. Joshua's had 8 trainers: Sims, McCracken, Clayton, Hernandez, Garcia, James, and now Davidson. Uh, Tyson Fury's had various trainers, had several trainers. Uh, it doesn't get to be any more crapper than this, but according to the GAD, this is the biggest fight in boxing. So if this is the biggest fight in boxing, there's no belt on the line. They've both been knocked about. They could quite easily have 11 losses on the record, couldn't they, if they want to align with big promoters?
yeah,
But obviously they haven't got 11 losses on. They've got 6 losses and a draw, but it could easily be 11. Uh, if this is biggest fight to be made in boxing, where does that say boxing is at the moment? What does it say about Usyk with all his belts and Dubois with one
it's,
belt? That's not
it's
really.
disres-
He got his two. He got a WBA regular and an IBF full IBF via email. What does it say about this sport of boxing, Andy?
it's disrespectful to the true champions. Yeah. Usyk looks like Usyk's got to beat everybody twice before they can even accept that he's the best man. Though I think I did hear the guard saying the other day that he is the best of his generation, but whether he said that reluctantly or what, maybe he's going to come out and say more truths when he's seeing that Fury and Big Meech are on the way out. And they're on a downward trajectory now, aren't they? So they're not going to be reluctant. They're not going to be reliant on again access and licking and whatnot as much as previously. But I don't know. But Usyk is the best of the generation. There's no denying that. But he's not getting the praise he deserves, in my opinion.
I don't think he does, mate. I don't think he does. Okay. Do you want to go on to part two, Andy?
Yeah, you just give me 5 minutes and I'll be right with you.
I'll see you at 11 then, yeah?
Okay, pal. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. Don't forget, if you want to do a Zoom, the email is in the bottom left-hand corner. Whoever comes on a Zoom with me in the month of January, winner gets 100 quid if you do the most views. You'll be up against the commission, obviously, if you're a newbie. And let's see what you're about. A lot of you have got a lot to say, a lot of mouthy so-and-sos. Keep emailing me every day. Keep them emails coming in. And Cameron will keep blocking you if it's vileness. But it's 100 quid in it in tough times. Okie dokie, we'll see you on part two. Pop, pop, bang.